So recently, I finished the hit '90s, early 2000s sitcom Friends, which the literal premise of the show is six friends who all hang out with each other in a small apartment building. That's it. So, I watched the show because I recently saw on HBO Max the Friends reunion, and it got me thinking. Wow, this fandom is really big still. Like, it's still popping, like, people are still watching the show. So, I wanted to know what made this show so popular and what's making it so popular today that it needs a reunion of this scale. And what I have discovered about the show after watching all 10 seasons is that it's basically just another sitcom. That's all, folks. Da 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 da. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but there were some high points to the show, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, which are the overall highlights and also the low points of the show, which made me feel like it was just another sitcom. We're also going to be talking about what is the best and most annoying parts of each character, like the main six characters, and also talk about my overall thoughts and whether or not the show is worth the watch. This is the official spoiler and trigger warning. Listen, I know this show's been out for almost 20 years, but people are still wanting to watch it to this day, so I will give a spoiler warning. There will be spoilers for this show up ahead. And also, if you don't like this is an opinion based video, like all my videos usually are. So if you don't like my opinion, then you can literally just go fuck yourself. I don't care anymore. And really, if you want to try to argue with me, I'll just show you the last guy who tried to argue with me. My friend Sam here tried to argue with me about my opinion once. Now he's like this. Don't be like Sam. Be cool. All right, back to your regular scheduled program. So let's talk about each of the characters in specific detail, whether what I like most about them and what I dislike about them. Starting off with probably my favorite female character of the entire show, Monica, aka Courtney Cox, aka best female actor ever. You can't tell me otherwise. Anyway, uh, she's my favorite female character by far because she's such a mood. I know that doesn't explain literally anything, but hear me out. What I mean is her personality of her being obsessed with cleaning and her very competitive self is a lot of fun to watch in the show. Whether it's when she's literally cleaning her vacuum with another vacuum, or it's her kicking Chandler and Joey's butt at ping pong. I love her so much, and this love also doesn't totally come from the fact that she was also in my favorite movie, Ace Ventura, as the side detective to Ace. But that doesn't matter here. That doesn't matter, okay? This, though, is also my gripe because she never really changes much throughout the show. Like, you don't see much character progression at all with her, and it kind of feels like it wasted potential and annoys me a bit about her. What I mean by that is, like, she's from start to finish, she is the mom cleaning girl who is very competitive. There's no growth. There's no, like, little lease on, like, her cleaningness. There's no, like, oh, she starts to be mature and be less competitive. No, she is constantly competitive throughout the entire show. I just wish there was more character progression, but there's more on that point down the line. Next character, Rachel, aka Jennifer Aniston, who a lot of you probably know. Rachel is by far the funniest girl out of the trio and has the spunkiest personality out of everyone. She's just popping. Um, she also is the good kind of feminist. The one that wants to empower young girls and encourage them to follow their dreams to do whatever they want, no matter what anyone says or tells them, and not the kind of feminist where they literally want all men to die. That's just my opinion, people. Let's not get angry about it in the comments or on Reddit. Anyway, now the thing I don't like about Rachel though is she acts very spoiled and kind of does whatever she wants and gets away with it in the show because She's hot. That's her. That's the moneymaker. That's the thing that lets her do whatever the hell she wants. Um, like there were a lot of times when I felt bad for Ross because of how mean she was to him. At least though, towards the end of the show, she acted a lot more mature, which was probably the only character in the whole show that had growth or had a slight bit of change. But once again, more on character progression as we go on. Now, the next character I want to talk about is probably the character I like the least out of the six of them, who is Phoebe, aka Lisa Kudrow. Now, Phoebe is the definition of a badass chick with no fucks given about anyone. She will go right for the juggler right after you have just met. Like she is that like a much of a no fucks. She also by far got the coolest and deepest backstory with her mom killing herself, her sister being an asshole to her all her life from childhood, and the fact that she had to grow up on the streets to survive because she was an orphan most of her life. Now let's talk about why I don't like the character, which, there's a lot. As mentioned before, people will go right for the jugular are not give an F about who you are, what you're doing. This part of her annoys me a lot because she's just mean for no reason at all to her friends, and it just makes me want to slap her across the face. Like, she's just got that personality where you're like, come on, did you really have to say that? Like, was that really necessary? Did you really have to call me fat? Like, really? Anyway, um, like she is by far my least favorite character, as mentioned. At least towards the end of the show, she was a bit more tolerable due to Mike, her boyfriend, also her husband, aka Paul Rudd. Um, because like God, who can hate Paul Rudd? He's just amazing. Like, oh, I love him. More on side characters though later. Our next character we're gonna talk about is Ross, aka David Schwimmer. David Schwimmer. Um, Ross is the nicest character on the entire show, by far. He's a great father to both Emma and Ben, even though Ross's relationship with Ben's mom is rocky due to her, being a lesbian and not coming out about it until, like, in the middle of their marriage, or, like, after they already got married. Um, Ross would do anything to protect his younger sister Monica, even if it meant killing Chandler when, like, for example, when he found out that Chandler was sleeping around with her, and he wanted to protect his little sister from getting heartbroken by some guy. And now, look, I know Ross was meant to be a whiny type character, like with the whole hi trope, but oh my god, could you make me more disappointed in a guy? Like, I'm usually pretty cool when it comes to personalities of people. Like, I don't give a fuck who you are. Um, but I've never heard someone complain as much as him, and it's just annoying. Like, wow, could you be any less of a man? Seriously, it's horrible. Like, grow a pair, please. Anyway, I digress. The next character I want to talk about is Joey, Matt LeBlanc. How you doing? Is a line that will go down in history as one of the funniest lines in sitcom history. And there's so much more I could talk about with how much I like him, just beyond the how you doing. Joey is just straight up the funniest and one of the funniest characters on the show. Now I don't mean joke wise. I mean he's just a goofy guy who can make you laugh so easily just by his personality. I wish I could spend one day with Joey. Honestly, he's just so much fun. He just brings up the energy of the room. It's great. Now, there isn't anything per se I hate about Joey, which is probably the only character on the show. That I don't have something I extremely hate about them. But there is something I hate that the show did to him. Look, everyone else got their happy ending, but him. Like everyone else fell in love. Monica got Chandler. Ross got Rachel. Phoebe got Matt. But Joey got no one. Joey ended up alone, sad. I mean, I know he's like the player type, right? But like, come on. Everyone ended up with somebody but him. Plus every time Joey got close to something or someone, got like close to someone, something would get in the way of that. Like when he fell in love with Rachel, but he couldn't get together with her because it would mess up his relationship with Ross. Or the time Joey was going out with this one girl, but Chandler was also in love with her. and Joey let Chandler have her because he's his best friend. Like, why you gotta do that to my boy Chandler? He just wants love. I know he's a player, but he just wants to be loved. I digress though. Now the last character on out of the six, and this character's by far my favorite character and the one I relate to most, aka Chandler Matthew Perry. Not only because he's my favorite character because not only is he the funniest, like joke wise, but also because I relate to him on so many levels. He's extremely witty and sarcastic, awkward in normal conversations, and secretly dead inside, like me. Now, I know I mentioned before that like I have something I hate about everyone, but like, how could you hate Matthew Perry? He's just so funny. The only thing that like saddens me is like Matthew Perry's like life outside of the movie cameras because he was a major drug addict during his time on the show and after with smoking, heroin, all that stuff. It was really sad. It just goes to show you what can happen to someone for Hollywood. Um, Thankfully, though, he did get clean after a while, but it's still sad to see someone so funny go down such a dark road. Anyways, that's gonna do it for characters. On to the next bit. So, do I like Friends? The answer is yeah, kinda. I mean, it's by far one of the better sitcoms I have watched in recent time. Some of my favorite things I like about the show are how real the characters and stories are throughout the whole show. My biggest problems with a lot of TV sitcoms are that they make very unrealistic plots, and it makes it hard to relate to. But with Friends, it's different. Every episode is something that could happen to anyone on the street. It just makes the show a lot more fun to watch when you feel like you're a part of it too. Another thing I love about the show specifically is the bromance between Joey and Chandler. You can see that they both love each other as if they were real brothers, and it's heartwarming anytime they have a moment together. Now, the last big thing I love about the show is that it has amazing side characters throughout all of 10 seasons. Richard Richard felt like more mature Chandler and it was cool. Oh my god. Is by far one of the funniest reoccurring lines in the show, right next to "How you doing?" And Janice is the most unique character on the show with her amazing and funny voice. She just brings light into it. Um, Mike was an absolute badass, which just goes so well with Phoebe. Especially when he was kicking Monica's butt at ping pong when we were all on vacation together for Ross's conference. Finally, my favorite side character throughout the show, and actually, according to a couple websites I saw, the smartest side character on the show was Marcel the monkey. Like, what other show had a trained monkey who, for an entire episode, just humped everything in sight? It was great. I loved it. All right, now that I've finished talking about what I love about the show, let's move on to the next bit. All right, look, let's be real here. Friends is just another sitcom at the end of the day. It didn't feel too special to any other one that I have seen. Plus, oh my god, I'm gonna be honest here, I don't like laugh tracks. Like, at all. Why do we need a group of people to tell us when a joke is made on the show? Like, laugh here! It's horrible. All of it is just filler so that the cast has time to remember the next line and move on with the show. Like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Um I hate that the show has a major lack of any character progression throughout all 10 seasons. I've mentioned this before with Monica. I think almost all characters besides Rachel didn't have like any character progression at all. The only major thing that I see changed throughout the entire 10 seasons is the cast hair and style. And that's because we literally go from one decade to another. Um, a good show that runs as for that long should have at least some character progression and change. I get that they were already adults when the show started, so they had mature enough already. but it just feels unfulfilling at the end. When you don't feel like you've really grown up with them, they don't feel like they've grown with you. Like that's the sad part with it. Anyways, that's all I hate. Those are the major things I hate about the show. On to the final thing that I'm talking about today. So, would I recommend Friends to other people? Yes, but also no. I would say that if you don't have a show to watch right now and want something to just sit down for half an hour and enjoy, like in the background or something, then I would totally recommend it because the show is very simple and funny, and it's just kind of something to like enjoy. Like it's not something like you really want to dive into, right? I would not though recommend it to someone who's looking for a show that will get them hooked on it and realized it and like get them into it. Its world like tie it into it because like I said before, Friends is really just another sitcom. It's one of the better sitcoms. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a sitcom. Um, So at the end of the day, I would give Friends a solid 7 out of 10 corn husk. But when it comes to sitcom level, like if I'm comparing to other sitcoms like The Big Bang Theory, Seinfeld, or stuff like that, I would give this show a 9 out of 10 corn husk. Because it like I've said before, it's by far like one of the better sitcoms that you'll see in today. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Comment down below what you thought of this video. I thought this was an interesting one. I haven't really covered TV shows yet. I'm going to try to like branch out more into like other stuff. I might talk about anime at some point. Or more about like universes and stuff like that. Like options. Like just tell me what you think I should do and give me ideas because that'd be awesome. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.